Hey, it's your favorite slightly hood therapist, and I'm back again with another chat. I got Mr. Jonathan Tyler with me today.
What's up?
Hey, look, saying your name made me just like think about it. One of those, not Backstreet Boys, Hanson and
Uh,
Chiefs, whatever. One name, Jonathan Tyler. Oh no,
that's Home Improvement.
Home
Jonathan
Improvement.
Taylor Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, now
yeah.
I mixed
No.
that all the way up. That was Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Okay.
They used to be one of my nicknames. Everybody really used to call me. So
Really?
yeah, that's how I know. That's the only reason why.
Okay. Well, Mr. Tyler, I'm so excited to chat with you
Hmm.
about a bunch of different things. I've really been excited about having men in general willing to come and do a chat with me, but especially having black men, and you are my second black man to come on the
Hey, hey,
chat. Big ups to
I made,
you.
I made it.
You made it. What you tell me? When I contacted you, you been waiting to be interviewed your whole life.
My whole life, my whole life. Been waiting on it.
You got a
Got
lot to
story to
say.
say. I got a lot to say, man. I got a lot to say. So
Okay. So I know you from junior high school, and I remember you and your siblings and your beautiful mom. Your mom was a teacher.
definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can you tell me a little
yeah.
bit about that, like being the kid of a teacher at the school where your
At the
mom?
school, at the school, in her class too. I actually took my mom in eighth grade for American history. So yeah, my mom was a history teacher. She also taught world geography as well. And she started off at Mitchell High School. I mean, that was when I was a baby. Then she went to Kingsbury, and then Kingsbury High School. Then after that, she moved over to Bellevue, and that's where my older sister, she went there with I think, the eighth grade of my older sister. Then of course my brother Joseph, who's like 2 years grade wise in front of me. And then when I got there, but I mean, man, my mom don't play. You know what I'm saying? She don't play when it comes to foolery, or especially when it comes to us, or if us taking advantage of, or not taking advantage of opportunities. So we definitely had to make sure we had our stuff in order. But at the same time, my mom is a person. She has her own personality and character, and that's what a lot of people loved about her. Ball of energy, ball of spirit, even to this day.
Yeah.
Still has a lot of energy. But I would say, for as far as myself, definitely a gift and a curse sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was definitely a good student, quiet, but I had my moments too where I wanted to be the class clown, or acting, getting a little unruly a little bit at times, not too much, in class, and teachers will write that note and send that kite to
I'm
her.
gonna tell your mama right next door.
And sometimes not even giving me grace. Like, if I laugh out loud, they just write the note, sending it to
Hmm.
her. I mean, overall, like, my mom helped. I say, make the process easier for me. Just people knew her, people loved her, and had a deep reverence for her. So that automatically shifted to me. And made, when they say me, they treated me with kindness, or helped me out
Yeah.
in different ways, looked after me. So I definitely, it helped more, I say, than
It
hurt.
hurt.
You know, yeah. So,
I was
but
thinking about that. She was your mom, like, you go through school and you have these adults in your life that were educators that stand out that you remember. And she definitely was one of those women. Like, I would
no
see
doubt.
her somewhere and I'd be like, I know that's Mrs. Tyler. Like,
Hmm.
she just
Hmm.
was awesome.
No doubt. Even to this day, people still like, "How your mom doing?" and "Your mom good?"
Yeah.
and ask about her. So, but not definitely. She definitely somebody that's gonna put an imprint on your heart and your mind.
Mhm.
So.
And obviously for her to have, and we because we don't see this as much anymore, I don't think. This being educators, staying educators for such a long time, and she
All
did
time.
it for
Yeah.
a long time. So she had to be very awesome at what she did. What is she up to now?
Oh well, man, she retired, but she has her drum group, African drum group. Cause my mom big into culture, and definitely the African culture. So she has her own drum group, and actually all of my nieces and nephews, and they're a part of it, and they just go around there and perform.
That's
So
amazing.
uh-huh.
So
Staying
you're
busy.
the baby.
I'm the baby. Yup.
Your sister's the oldest.
No, I have an older brother, James, and then my older sister, Christy, and then my other sister, Loie, and then Joseph, and then myself.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
I know you and Joseph. I don't
Yeah.
I'm a baby, so I don't know the
Uh-huh.
older ones.
Uh-huh. Well, they were
They were
like,
older than us.
well, yeah, well, at least Loie, when we were at Bellevue, she was already at Central. She was already in
Okay.
high school. And then my other brother and sister, they were already in college. So they were already pretty much out the house by that time.
So were you were the last kid to come through for her at school. Were you the problem?
Nah.
No.
I mean, I had, I say between my oldest brother and myself, my oldest brother probably got in the most trouble. Then I'm probably number two. I'm probably number two in the lineup. But I feel like, oh no, I feel like Joe got in more trouble than me. He just never got caught. You know what I'm saying? Like he was so good, he just never got caught. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would I would get caught. I would just get caught on my stuff. But no, I definitely was the problem. I mean, I know everybody gonna have to get in trouble or whatever, but man, I was a real good kid. I was a real good kid, quiet, followed the rules, and I mean, I'm a silly person, so that part I can't help. I might every now and then, like in class, get an N or a U in conduct, but that's just because I like to
Because you
joke
were
and
talking
like
and joking, but not like a
talking.
bad kid.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what was the journey like for you leaving junior high school, going to a high school? Your mom was no longer, an educator in the same school where you were. Did
Uh,
it change how you moved a little bit or
no, no, not really, because she still had that reach, like
Central was
tell
right
you
there?
just right down the street, like so I still felt like she was still over my shoulder, but nah, she still had that reach. So I couldn't And, I mean, and just with my family as well, a lot of people know my family. So uh it's only so much, even teachers, like we have personal relationship with other teachers, even at Central. So it's only so much I know that I can like really get away with or act a fool. So, and then I was an athlete as well in high school. So that's what I wanted to do, and I loved it. So I didn't want anything to ruin that opportunity for me.
Mhm.
So
But what'd you play again?
I was mostly a track, cross country and track. I
Okay.
played football my 10th grade year, but man, I was small. I was small and short, man, and I didn't grow it really until the end of my 11th and 12th grade year. So man, I was still short and skinny, and football. I was like, this ain't the cards for me. Not right now, not in my life. Like I need to get bigger and taller, and that just wasn't in my cards. I was a late bloomer, so that
Yeah.
I was just like I was a better track runner. I was good in track, so I did cross country and track
Okay.
for
Yeah.
Central. And if you know about Central Track, man, we were we were them dudes, we were them guys. Yeah, we were
I
them guys.
don't know, which is why I asked, because when y'all all went to Central, I left Bellevue after eighth grade.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh. And you know what? It's funny you said that because like I don't know, it felt like you was there on that grade year. I don't even remember you not being there.
I wasn't there.
Uh that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I only went there for 2 years, but it does feel like it was longer to me too, because I did establish so many different relationships, met so many people,
Uh,
some wonderful folks. Like y'all was some interesting, different people.
In a good way or a bad way?
Well, so I've talked about this before with other people. Like I had a difficult time at Bellevue
Uh,
because I felt out of place. You know,
really?
yeah, I felt like all of you guys, like, I was bused there. I lived in Orange Mound, so
Okay.
city bus there, and I was like, everybody have all these relationships. You all knew each other from the neighborhood or elementary schools, and I didn't have that. So the friends that I made, like Tiffany and Arlene,
Uh-huh.
it was like, okay, well, we take classes together, or Tequila, we rode the bus together, but I didn't
Yeah.
have established relationships. So it was like, well, I mean, we might laugh and joke about stuff, but y'all can talk about stuff. You remember when we was at so and so,
Uh,
and y'all could hang out with each other on the weekends. No, I got to get back to Orange.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't hang out.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, but it was good. It was a different
Mhm.
experience. But I was like, nah. I was happy to be able to go back to
Mm.
be around. It's hard. I think
Oh,
parents
yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, but to me, you used to be in the popular clique. Like, you used to be in the mix. I felt like that. You was a cheerleader. Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. But I always felt like I don't know, maybe it was just in
I
my
mean,
head. Like I was
yeah,
on
yeah.
the outskirts. But
Uh-huh.
okay,
Uh-huh.
it's popular. You went to high school and you were going to be a professional runner. You were gonna run track, you were gonna be an Olympian.
Oh no, nah, I knew that wasn't in my cards either. I know, like, I mean, when you first start, you just kind of like, let's see how far I could take this, But no, I knew my times was not that good comparing them to, I wasn't that close to as far as Olympic runners, so I knew I like this is. Um, More for just building up character, and also something to do, something to do. So but yeah, it was more more character building for me. But I mean, it did give me, well, I turned it down, but it did. I was offered a track scholarship to Tennessee State, which I did. College I attended,
Okay.
for like a year and a half or so. But yeah,
Okay,
that
I
was
gotta definitely delve into that. But
uh
so when you say that it helped build character, are you saying like track itself or just being an athlete?
well, both. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you commitment. It teaches you desire. If what you want, are you willing to go after it? Teaches you patience. You know, Sometimes you want to come out the block like being that guy, being the best, but no, it takes patience for that. It takes time. Even like certain principles, like the principle of compound. You know, from your first year to your second year, you should get better, and even from the third year, it just teaches you, and even being an athlete, period, it teaches you a lot of disciplines
Mhm.
and principles and stuff like that. So, but definitely, even to this day, it's a lot of things that I still, I would say, laid the groundwork, the foundation for me in how my perspective on how I attack things or how I look at things. So, but yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. So, you and your mom and several siblings. Was your dad around?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, and my dad passed away my senior year in high school.
Oh wow.
But no, I mean, some people, like I actually lived the Huxtable lifestyle, growing up, like both parents in the home, both parents successful, uh, with all kids, like all from the same mom and dad, and, strong spiritual foundation, middle class, like you name it. Like I grew up very structured, and I love the way that I was brought up. I enjoyed that, and it definitely that's just one of the things. Maybe the person that I am. and I see the benefits of things. But yeah, my dad passed of stomach cancer. My 12th grade year was in January, going during my 12th grade year. So that was a hit on me. You know what I'm saying? Like it, my outlook on life, my perspective changed. Being and I was a child. I was 18 years old. I was a child at that time, and I didn't understand life. I'm just coming into my own, and just not understanding it, and it kind of made change my perspective, kind of into a victim mentality a little bit, because I felt like, what did I do to deserve this? I felt like I was being targeted. Like, I felt like I did everything right, and for that to happen, it was just kind of like, man, this is like, did I call? Like, you just go in your mind, you go through those things, and I think a lot of the times you initially look at yourself first, and feel, I would say even my relationship with God was very strong. I was afraid of God after that, because death was heavy to me, and especially taking like the the head of our family, the leader in our family, and someone that I had a loving father, and for that to happen, it was, man, it was a blow. It was a blow for me, but and kind of looking forward, but down the line, it helped me to, at that young of an age, it helped me to, I guess, have duality in my vision, where I can relate to people who grew up with both parents in the home, but then now I can also relate to people who grew up in a single family home, where not having that father, and the effects of not having the dad in the home, how that, hurts, or causes an imbalance in the family structure, so it helped me to see both sides of things. But looking back, but like, we didn't go through therapy, over that, and I know that's something I told my mom, like, man, we should have went to therapy. Like, but it's just something it happened, and all right, let's move forward. Let's try to move forward as best we can in life. But I know, when looking back now, like, man, we should have been in therapy for that, talking to someone to help ease, get through that in our lives or whatever. But yeah.
I think that's like an interesting perspective to grasp, right? So you grew up, um, would generously say a privileged child. You had
Hmm.
both your parents, and you guys were taking you did well financially, but still the cultural reference for us as people of color, that it don't matter what happened, we're not running to no therapist.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
I think
Uh-huh.
in other cultures that would have been an automatic, like, okay, we've lost somebody
Hmm.
important, let's get everybody into therapy to be proactive to see how things go. But that's a good,
Hmm.
like, perspective for people to hear, that we back then, it still was, and even today, still a point of contention for me, that we still,
Hmm.
don't take the proactiveness part for taking care of ourselves emotionally and mentally. But and that's not a hit on your family. We
No doubt.
go through that, but
Uh-huh.
and then you said, like, I don't know if you caught your verbiage. You said this happened and you were 18, and you said I was a child.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, we don't want to we don't want to understand that at 18 we are still children.
Right. Right.
Our culture at 18, it's like, all right, you 18, get up out of here, go to work or go to school. You recognize that at 18, as a you were still a boy, you were not a man.
Exactly.
Go out
Yeah.
and be into the world.
Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. I mean, definitely, like, I mean, at that time, like, of course, I'm 18. I'm thinking, yeah,
Thought
I'm
you was
out the house
young.
next year. Yeah, I'm about to start making my own decisions, living on my own. But looking back now, I mean, even I want to say recently, I want to say they came up with some scientific study saying like the brain isn't fully developed at 18. But I mean, you couldn't tell me anything then. I thought I was grown and knew it all at that point, but yeah, now I look back like, man, 18, nah, I had no clue. I didn't even know myself at that time. I didn't even know my own strengths. And of course, I knew my own weaknesses, but I didn't know my own strengths. I didn't even know my purpose in life at that time. So, no, I was definitely a boy at that time. So,
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like though that you guys had such a strong matriarch, your mom, that she
definitely,
really, yeah, she probably went
man,
through a lot through that.
definitely. Like, I mean, we didn't feel the effects, financially. Like, we still went to college. It was my mom held it down, like, man, much props, to her, because at that time I'm kind of expecting, all right, well, all everything that, my desires or wants in life kind of might have to be put on pause, but nah,
Because you was the
everything kept
last little baby.
right. Right, right. And yeah. But yeah, it was like, but not nothing stopped. Everything just kept moving forward. So my mom definitely did a thing. She did a thing with it. So
Speaks more to how amazing she is.
hmm
So you went to TSU and wasted time for a year?
no, well, actually my first year, well, yes and no, but my first year I actually did very well. But the problem with that was I did I didn't find out that I didn't mourn my dad until the end of my freshman year. I was, I guess, in a sense, I was trying to be there for my mom. I was trying to take um, the role of my dad, as far as, holding her up, being the banner for our family. And I kind of focused too much on that part that I forgot about myself. And not in So I went to Tennessee State and I started like doing very well, like, man, like exceptionally well. Like, I was just like, wow, this everything's like coming my way. And that's when it finally hit me. Because I typically, of course, like I'm that kid. I'm that kid with the good report, and I want to run back to my parents and say, "Look what I did." And but it's like I didn't. Of course, I got my mom there, but I ain't have my dad to go to. And like, man, look what I'm doing. Like, I'm becoming a man, and that's when like that gut check, like, and it hit my heart, and it was just kind of like I went through a period where trying to find, I guess, and that's trying to find my purpose in life and the meaning of life. Because at that moment, it was kind of like, what is this for? I'm getting all these accolades and accomplishments, but I'm not feeling fulfilled. Like it's not satisfying me, and it was because of just that void was gone now.
Your dad not really focusing and healing the void that was left when your father left.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, so that's I was after that, like I was saying, like that's when uh, it was definitely needed. I went through a deep search, inner search. I was like, I gotta find me. I can no longer live off the name of my dad, because of course, when people see me, and definitely they would give praises to him, which he's definitely old and due. Uh, but at the same time, it made me question. It made me look at life like, man, hold on, what is my purpose? because they need to be saying, continue praise my dad, but they need to be, I need to be finding, how can I fulfill, like that void? How can I, I'm at a point I don't need to be necessarily walking directly in his footsteps, but I need to make my own footsteps or
Mhm.
footprints in life, and that's when I was like, I went on a deep search of finding myself, and what is my purpose? What is my goal in life? And where am I going? And where do I need to go? And then I went on a spiritual search, and I was, came out of that. Actually, so I went to Tennessee State 1 year. I tried to go back like my second year, but it just wasn't working for me. Like I was physically there, but I wasn't mentally there.
Mhm.
So that just wasn't my purpose. So I decided to just go back home, live with moms until I figured it out.
How
And
did she take
but
that as a educator?
um, I would say she took it well. I mean, she was, of course, she gonna always, she gonna always remind me like, you need to be doing something. You need to be figuring it out. But I'm just kind of like, I would say, man, she gave me definitely grace. Like she saw me like, man, I started reading Plato, Socrates. I was reading the Bible. I started, man, reading a lot of Black authors like what I can't even think of the names right now, but the Invisible Man. Man, I just started, man, educating going through my own self education
Mhm.
uh, in life, and she saw that about me, so she didn't want to, I guess, interrupt that.
Yeah,
So
you
she
got
knew,
that.
like, no, yeah, she was like, he's figuring it out. I'm gonna just give him time. But like I said, she always remind me like, you need to be doing something. You need to be
I
figuring it
can't
out.
do
But
it. Well, you gonna do something now.
uh-huh.
So
But
this process, this journey brought you out on the other side, and you made a decision to not go back to school, but to
yeah. Uh to really down the line join the Air Force, I was in RTC, Air Force RTC when I was in college. Uh, because I majored in aeronautical engineering, and that it was mandatory. You had to take Air Force ROTC, and so I got a ground basis of basically what the Air Force is all about, and also what they require. And so just as far as figuring things out, that was just something, I was just kind of like, what, man, I might, start looking more into that. But actually, I got into cutting hair. I got into cutting hair. I cut my own hair. I do the thing. Yeah, it was self-taught. I learned how to cut hair, and man, even when I was at TSU, like my dorm room, people stayed coming in. Like I used to chop everybody up, my brother, all my friends, and then when I went back home, like that's what I was doing. I was cutting hair, making money that way, and I was actually initially going to go to barber school, but join the Air National Guard.
okay.
I was going to join the Air National Guard, but then I was going to be a barber, and that way I could do like my weekend a month. But then, as far as barbering, that was going. But I was going to I was going to do women's hair and men's hair. So I was just trying to like, yo, the money. I feel like the money and the notoriety is more in women's hair. So I was like, I'm gonna do that, and then of course I'm gonna keep cutting
Like
hair. You know what I'm saying?
style women's hair?
Huh?
Like style women's hair?
All of it, style cut. Like I was trying to be that dude, like in the cosmetology industry. You know what I'm saying? Like cause I was like,
Okay, I
yo,
did not know
yeah,
that.
man, yeah. I was like, yo, that's the money. Like, man, you do one hairdo with a woman, man, that's almost 200. Nowadays, shoot, it could be almost 1,000, even more. Depending on what
Mhm.
you're doing. So
That's
I
why
was like,
I
yo,
went
that's
on and locked it up. Y'all ain't gonna keep getting my money.
man. But yeah, that's all. Like, and it was just kind of like I just knew like it'll hit different. Like if I like did women hair, like I know that the notoriety with my name would buzz with that. So, but I was like, because I know how I'm like, all right, I can cut hair. I'm chopping. Everybody know I'm good at that. So,
Yeah.
um,
But
but
you
yeah, that was
didn't
my
do that. You did the Air Force.
I did the Air Force actually because me and my brother joined at the same time. He was going active duty. I was going guard, and
Joseph?
it just so happened to be one day that I went to his recruiter, and then his recruiter started talking to me, just about like, yo, you could do this, you could still cut hair in, in the Air Force or whatever. So, and then I mean, at that time, man, I was tired of being hungry. Yeah, he just told me, he said, yeah, we'll feed you. I'm like, for real? I'm like, man, stop me.
You said you got signed up to the Air Force for a meal. But it obviously turned out great. How many
Oh,
years did you
definitely.
serve? Are you still active?
Oh, still active.
Yeah.
17 years, 17 years to this day now. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So your mom had two of her babies. What about the other kid? Are you two the only two who joined the military? Am I saying
yeah.
the military?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're me and my brother the only two. Like in my family. Of course, my granddad, my mom's dad, he was in the army. Then also, I had a one of my uncles. He was in the army. So and then my brother-in-law, he was in the Air Force as well. So we have like a few. My family is not big in the military, but we have like a few that serve. So,
Okay.
but
So
my mom she was not going. She was not going for. She did not want us to go, and and mostly because of the at that time, and which like even today, like you hear a lot of black people kind of say like that's not for blacks. The military is not for blacks. And that's a lot is history with that. It's the way that we were treated in World War II and also Vietnam. A lot of us were put on the front lines. A lot of us was treated unfairly in the military in the past, and she was afraid of that for us.
that's
You know,
heartbreaking that she was more afraid that the military, that our military would not protect her children versus what would happen in a foreign land to you guys. That's
right.
heartbreaking.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's the history. That's the history of our country. That's the history that things were done, uh, particularly to blacks. And one thing, at least in the corporate America, and we experience it everywhere. We experience it's not just in the military, but at least in corporate America, you could quit. The military, like I can't just walk off and tell them I'm
Right.
done. So that aspect, that's what she did not want us to go. But it took her like once went to our graduation from basic training and just saw the layout and really even the positions then we were in leadership positions and just shocked how everybody was taken to us and I think at that point she was just like okay and then just let her know like it's things definitely has got a whole lot better than
And what?
her viewpoint of what it used to or not just her viewpoint but from what it used to be.
Because she's a historian. You're not gonna tell her
Definitely.
she don't know the history of what has happened to us in
Uh-huh.
the armed forces.
Hmm. Uh,
So can I ask, and you can tell me if you can't discuss it, do you have events that have happened to you being in the armed forces that were definitely racially motivated?
um I wouldn't say not directly, like nothing directly like to me, but like now they've done the Air Force in particular has done a study. I want to say about maybe 2-3 years ago, in which, in particularly for African Americans, but and two of the things that they noted was African Americans were being punished with the most harsh punishments or correctiveness. And then also they noted that African Americans or blacks were not in the higher echelons or elites in the ranking system. And kind of those two, they one of them is kind of a cause of an effect a little bit, uh,
Mm.
because that's one thing I notice even about myself. Like I just watch how I carry myself. I watch how uh, I talk to others, or what I do or what I don't do, because I understood that I won't be treated. And not saying that everybody will, but you don't know what your supervisor or above him or your commander, the mentality that they might have, against other races, other sectors, whatever. Like you just don't know. So I always knew, like, man, protect yourself. Make sure the way you carry yourself. Certain people don't hang around, don't get caught up in certain environments or atmosphere. But I was a little older when I joined too. I was 23. I wasn't like
Or more
18 or
mature. Yeah.
I was a little mature. So I knew how to move. But yeah, nothing for me directly, like nothing directly. But I do, even to this, I do feel the indirect. I mean, just as a black person, it's not even just in the military, but this just our nation. Period. Like you got to work 10 times harder. You got to work 10 times harder. You got to be 10 times smarter just to be recognized. Just to be on the even playing field. Like I have to be perfect. I feel I have to be perfect.
Or you got to answer
Just
questions that other people wouldn't have to answer.